Hi, this is Mark from GraduateJobTips.com. Today I have Zac, who is the founder of Gradtouch, a platform that's based up in Manchester, which is sort of bridging the gap between students, graduates, and employers. So Zac, thanks for joining me over Skype
Yeah,
today.
cheers.
And just to kick things off, I know that it's a fairly young company. It was founded in 2010, but
Yeah,
can you just tell
yeah.
us a little bit more about the background of the business?
Well, I graduated from Durham University in 2010. Had a job offer in the city. Throughout my time at university, I ran a couple of small businesses. I kind of knew that's what I wanted to kind of carry on doing. Um, Had a couple of months off during the summer, tried to figure out what it was to do it in, which was quite an eventful 2 months. And I just, chatting to friends, family, everyone I was at university with, there just seemed to be an ever-growing chasm almost between the professional world and university life. Kind of every stage up until university is quite regimented. There's quite an obvious step there. Um, and kind of just the gap between university and the commercial world, I just didn't think there was enough there to help students go from A to B, not just in landing a job, but in pointing them in the right direction, giving them some solid feedback on application forms, CVs, and really just helping them get from A to B. I just don't think the real commercial world doesn't penetrate into university. You get the same 40, 50 companies every year doing the milk round. So kind of like the big accountancy firms, the banks, the consultancies, and like the FMCG companies, and that's about it. And if you're at university and that's the only exposure you've had, it's quite hard to then see how big the world is after that. If you don't get a job in a big four or consultancy company, it's not the end of the world, and there are more jobs out there.
Yeah.
And I think, if you're really keen to go out there and be proactive and get a job, you'll find it in whatever you want to do it in. It's just about taking yourself to it rather than letting it come to you like it did at university.
And in terms of connecting graduates and students with prospective employers, is it done predominantly through your online platform, or do you actually have meetings and events where they can physically meet and interact?
Yeah, well, we started off. First thing we actually did was events on campus. So we did them for quite a few different companies, different sizes. So people like Deloitte, AstraZeneca, the cooperative. We started actually doing events on campus where we introduced our audience, our members, to the companies in kind of quite an informal manner.
So is that how you'd say it differs from your stock standard like milk round, where they just come by and run through their formal presentation?
Yeah, because we kind of got rid of the formal presentation. There was obviously still a small PowerPoint. I don't think any meetings completely without a PowerPoint. But
Yeah.
that was more to do with the application process after that. But it's basically we just tried to get everyone in quite an informal setting, and to really, we only invited along people we knew would be interested in that kind of career. So it wasn't just necessarily the people who kind of you'd expect to apply for it, but it's people who we suggested to them this could be the kind of the path for you to go down. And yeah, that's how we started off. We then realised that we couldn't we couldn't help as many people as we wanted to by just doing the on-campus events, because they were only ever for kind of 30 to 40 people. So we decided to kind of take that idea online. For all these different companies we're working with, they have a profile page on our website. So it's full of videos, pictures. We try and make it as interactive as possible. In most cases, we've gone down and interviewed the employer, and they just give their honest opinion of how to get into the company, what you need to be doing, where the pitfalls are, where everyone else has fallen down. So we've kind of tried to take it online just so it can reach a bit of a broader audience, because it's quite hard to get to 5 universities with 5 different companies in the space of a month and a half, which is normally the kind of the time space you have in the first term. So yeah, we tried to take it online. The majority of the companies we work with, we have some kind of fast track in place, like fast track system in place with them. So there's a kind of the hack group of accountants who are on our website. The normal procedure for them is to fill out huge application forms, and then through us it's just a CV submitted. And because of the relationship we've got with them, if we submit people to them, they get them in for kind of an interview straight away. The same for Credit Suisse. We work with a couple of their departments at the moment, and it's the same procedure. We identify the people we think would be the best. We talk people through what they need to be saying on their CV and cover stuff. Send in the CV, get sent straight to the MD in charge, and then he'll get people in just for one interview. And then
really, just one interview?
Just one interview.
Yeah. So they don't have to go through all those layers where they meet HR, line management, HR again.
Yeah, just one submitting one CV and cover letter to us, and then one interview there. It's quite an intense interview, but sure. that's the kind of thing we're trying to cut out. Not all our relationships like this. Some people just use the website to advertise opportunities on, and then it goes directly to the person who put up the advert. So whichever HR member probably did that. But we're trying to build more of these kind of fast track opportunities into everything we do, just because we want to cut down the amount of kind of hoops people have to jump through. I know we're not going to be able to change it for everyone, but the more that we do, or we can do that for, the better it is for everyone, I think.
No, I like that idea, because I think that's at the moment one area in graduate recruitment which definitely needs reform. Just simply because people, when before they graduate or after they graduate, they apply to a lot of jobs, and if all these jobs have such a convoluted application process, you end up spending your whole life just applying.
Yeah.
And if you get a few rejections in the beginning, it can be, you can feel really dejected, because you've just spent so much time, and you've been called in maybe 5 or 6 times for an interview, and now it's amounted to nothing. But if you can go in there, meet with the MD, have one really challenging interview, if it doesn't work out, you haven't expended too much of your time.
No,
and you can move on quickly and look for another job.
Yeah, and you can learn from it as well. And I think, one of the best things we can do for people is to give them real, honest feedback on what went wrong, where they need to improve, to avoid all the kind of the buzzwords you might normally get from kind of different agencies and stuff about kind of being more proactive, or you're really engaging person, and we're just trying to avoid that and say, this is where you fell down, this is what they said you need to improve on. If you can do X, Y, and Z and get to this point, then they'll see you again, and we can go from there again. And I just think real kind of step-by-step procedures on where you need to improve is key to kind of good feedback, and it works in everyone's favour as well.
Okay, and is this just, your offices are based in Manchester, so is this predominantly focused on up north, or Canada?
No, the majority of our clients are in London.
Yeah, okay.
We just so happen to all live in Manchester when we set it up, and we've kind of stayed around here. It's quite nice, actually. We get to go down to the city kind of a couple of times a month, but apart from that, we've got our office in Manchester, and it's we're quite not out of the loop, but we're detached from the hustle and the bustle. So I think it works in our favour from time to time, because you get to get quite a lot of work done, and it's a lot easier commute. From when we've worked down in London, we've stayed at friends' houses and gone in for meetings and stuff, and I don't like getting on the tube. So it's a lot nicer.
Well, if you've got companies like Credit Suisse, I'm sure they can send an Addison Lee card to pick you up.
No, that never happened. No.
Okay, no, that's good to hear. Just so that people know not just where you're based, but also where the jobs are coming out of. And then I see that on your webpage there's a little section on the right-hand side where people can sort of type in a query or question, and also upload a document of their choice. I'm assuming a cover letter or CV. Is that advice? Is it free?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that was one of the things we wanted to do. Is when we speak to people, we call ourselves a student and graduate support service. That's kind of our tagline, and it's a completely free service. So people can upload it. It normally get answered either the same day or the next working day. It's normally myself or one of my colleagues, and and we'll normally just email you back quickly, try and arrange a phone call, and just talk through a few different things basically.
Okay, fantastic. And then just finally, if a graduate or student wants to get in contact, you've got gradtouch.com.
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
on Twitter. I think your handle's at Gradtouch.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Facebook is just Gradtouch as well, I think.
Perfect. So they can just pop you an email or tweet at you and take it from there, really. And
Yeah.
then also just the sectors. Are you sort of sector agnostic, or do you focus on a few particular sectors?
Well, we're trying to focus on as many as possible. We've got quite a few companies in accountancy, some consultancy, recruitment, sales, banking, advertising. I mean, we're trying to cover as many as possible, and we don't want to be defined to however many sectors. So we're always looking to work with different companies, see what kind of deals, partnerships we can set up. And yeah, we don't want to just be stuck to 1, 2, 3 sectors. We want to get into as many as possible.
Okay, great. Well, Zac, thanks a lot for that.